Welcome to Tim Runs His Mouth. It's me, Tim Young, here with American Greatness and, of course, our sponsor of all times, CigarsDirect.com. You guys can go to CigarsDirect.com right now and get their 25th anniversary Carrillo Pledge Figurado cigar. You're going to want to get your hands on this super limited edition. And also, you can go get your humidors, your cutters, your everything you could possibly want for collecting, your rare stuff, your regular smokes, everything you possibly want. CigarsDirect.com. It's the place to be. I'd go there. That's where I get my stuff from when I'm not getting it directly from my friends at Ezra Zion. You should go there as well to cigarsdirect.com. Guys, look at that. I can even pull up, there you go, cigarsdirect.com. I'm Tim Young. If you haven't seen this before, I like to go through the news with you guys as much as I watch it to kind of, I don't know, stress out, vent with you. And there's a lot to talk about this week, as always. I think this is going to be the most interesting story of the day, though. Although there's a lot of mess that's going on, Fox News is reporting with lots of ads. Fox News is reporting with lots of ads because I can't even scroll up until the ads load. Isn't that half of the screen is an ad for, well, thank God they're giving me an Allure beauty ad. Anyway, I should just clip this. I can't get above the half screen. Anyway. Seriously, you can't scroll above the. There we go. I'm reporting that you can't scroll above half of the screen with an ad on most websites anymore. It's ridiculous. I don't even know how it's comfortable for people to read these things. So, Republican Patrick McHenry won't seek re-election. But here's the thing: there are 37 members of Congress who have announced that they won't seek re-election in 2024. I think this is very interesting. It's going to really tell the tale of the tape here on what's going to happen in Congress coming up. Right now, I believe it is 10 Democrats and 20 Republicans. Here we go. There's 7 senators and 30 representatives. Of the representatives, 20 are Democrats, 10 are Republicans. So there's a chance to win some of these seats. Probably not, though, because a lot of these districts are super blue and super red. And as things have gone on, the disparity in a lot of districts has not gotten more purple. It's gone opposite polar ends. So I really think, there could be a chance to pick up seats, but I'm not going to get too excited about it. I just think that it's very interesting how many people are leaving Congress right now. Why are they leaving? Why are there so many leaving? I mean, it is really a retirement home, and I'm shocked that so many have decided to call it a day. And again, Patrick McHenry, who was the temporary speaker, I wonder if something happened there where McCarthy's angry at him or he's angry at something. But remember, he was the one who, his big move in his limited time, McHenry, was to boot Nancy Pelosi out of her tiny, what's it called? The hideaway office in the Capitol. So she has a nice hideaway office in the Capitol. For those of you guys who don't know what hideaway offices are, they're not the main office. They're these tinier offices that are kind of ornate and classic in the Capitol building itself instead of in the office buildings where all the other House of Representatives offices are. So they'll have that big office in the House of Representative office buildings, but then they'll have a pretty sweet office in the Capitol. And depending on your rank, you can get a pretty good view of the either the National Mall or the Supreme Court, or you get no windows at all, which I've worked with members of Congress who have no windows at all, but they do have a pretty good bar. And that's where you hide your liquor, by the way. If you're drinking on the floor, you want to hide your liquor there in your hideaway office. And then you get your drink and you hang out. You take a nap in there too. You can take it there. There are seats. There's little beds and stuff that they can put in there. A lot of times they make it kind of like either a private meeting room for lobbyists or special people to come in. And again, the more ornate, like Pelosi's office was, the cooler, and they get that by rank. Or you can just have like a bed in there to take a nap so that you can quickly get to the floor for a vote. So the deal apparently was that as long as Kevin McCarthy stayed speaker, Nancy Pelosi wouldn't lose her small hideaway office. And because he lost the speakership, the very first thing that Pat McHenry did when he came in was to get rid of her office, boot her out of it, and tell her she had to move. So the only thing he really accomplished was something vengeful on behalf of McCarthy in the grand scheme of things. So that is the big thing there. And again, the story, 37 different members of Congress leaving Congress right now. I think that's very, very interesting. And we'll see if anybody new pops up that might be actually a quality representative in Congress. I have no hope. I have no hope whatsoever for any of that. So that being said, let's take a look at the other stories here. I can't get over this story from Deadspin. And I think you guys all saw this last week where take a look at his Twitter in the past. Not a big fan of white people. Now, that's not racist. Apparently, he can because he's a black guy. He can hate white people all he wants. His name, by the way, is Karen. But so he takes this shot of this kid, which, I mean, it's sort of like Two-Face, right? He's got this kid who we find out later. He says, "Oh, we got to get rid of blackface." We find out later that this kid wasn't wearing blackface at all. He was wearing 50-50 face paint of the colors of the team. So, of course, this gets debunked. And apparently the big story is now that this kid's family is going to sue Deadspin, which they should do. Also, by the way, this kid who they said was wearing blackface and was offensive to Native Americans, his father is on the Chumash tribe board and Santa Inez, I can't say it. Listen, white guy. I can't pronounce all these things. So his dad, not only is this kid Native American, but I heard an interview where this headdress that he has is just costume. So, a lot of times when people like dress up or whatever, and I don't care about people being offended by how people dress, but a lot of times when people dress up as Native American or whatever, they just get whatever and they put it on whatever they got from the flea market or whatever they found. And it's offensive to certain groups. Everybody's offended by everything. Let's be real here. But in this instance, they actually specifically picked a costume headdress so that has no meaning whatsoever. So they took the time to make sure that no Native Americans, the family who are Native American, took the time to make sure that no Native Americans were offended by this. But that didn't stop Deadspin from taking literally the side shot of this kid and saying that he wore blackface. Now, this is no different than the kids from Kentucky. Who was the kid who yelled? Remember they said the kid racist. Hold on, let's see. Covington Catholic. Who can forget Covington Catholic? Where the media took Nick Sandmann, they took his face. They showed him smiling in the face of a lunatic who apparently lied about his military service, who was a Native American guy, after his school group had already gotten harassed by another group of leftist lunatics. They took his face, and they showed a very quick clip of him smiling and said that he was a racist, and they ran with the story across multiple platforms. He's settling. I'm sure that he's very wealthy from all of his settlements from the defamation suit there. I think this might be worse. I really think this story might be worse because they intentionally, and I like bringing this picture up again, good reporting here by the Washington Times. Let's see if I can get a bigger picture of it. But here, they take this kid, they literally took a very selective shot, a 1-second shot of this kid with the side of his face to make it look like he was wearing blackface. It's intentionally edited to make it look like it's worse than what it really is. And I think that is an obvious lawsuit. This is posted by real Kansas City Chiefs fans. And apparently all the Chiefs fans are going to dress up. I'd rather the Chiefs fans focus on this kid and dress up like him instead of Taylor Swift, to be honest with you. I'm tired of seeing her in that phony relationship with Travis Kelsey. It's phony, by the way. I'm 1,000% sure that it's phony, and they used her. They're probably paying her quite handsomely to show up to football games. Someone, networks, NFL, I don't know where the money's coming from, but they are. I fully believe that Taylor Swift was being paid to show up to football that was failing in the ratings to get the numbers up so they can get her cult to tune in to football. But that being said, I'm glad that they focus on this kid now positively because, again, Native American, two sides of very clearly face painted, two sides of his face. Even his family going painstakingly to the lengths to pick a headdress that has no meaning. That is just a costume headdress, no meaning to any tribe whatsoever, to wear to the game. And he's 9 years old, and he's probably going to be pretty rich. I hope that I hope they sue Deadspin into oblivion. I really do. I think that's where this goes, and I think that's where it needs to go. All right, so when we're not talking about that, we can go into many different stories here. I think my next favorite one of the week that you guys are going to want to be interested in here is our old pal Hillary was back with some interesting words about the climate. And let's get this turned up. I'm getting better, by the way, at clips. You got to admit, I'm getting better at these clips. This is from Disclosed TV, who apparently just sits around and pulls clips all day long. Here's our old pal Hill. And she now says that climate change only attacks women and children.
We're seeing and beginning to pay attention and to count and record the deaths that are related to climate. And by far, the biggest killer is extreme heat. I mean, even in Europe.
Extreme heat. Ooh. Remember when it was extreme cold in the 70s? I know I'm not that old, but you can actually look it up. It used to be extreme cold. They said there was going to be a second ice age coming, but now extreme heat's back, everybody. Can't really prove it, but extreme heat's back. It's killing people.
Last summer, which has the ability to count and figure out what happened.
By the way, it's hot in the summer. I don't know if you knew that or not. It's hot. It's hot in the summer. Don't tell Hillary this, but it's hot in the summer.
Happened. They recorded 61,000 deaths because of the heat in Europe. We don't have that kind of number yet from Africa, Asia, Latin America, but we know and estimate that we probably could measure about 500,000 deaths. And the majority...
Just making numbers up. She's literally just making numbers up. We don't have those numbers, but we can estimate 500,000 because how many people live in Europe? Hold on. How many people live in Europe? Let's run the numbers here. 746 million people. Okay. I like pulling up the old calculator here. Seven. Let's see. So if it's 61,000, she says 61,000 divided by, I'm going to do a little math here. Let's get a percentage of the population. 61,000 divided by 746, 400. So 0.08% is who died in the... It doesn't make any sense, by the way. It's just... So wonder how many people died from like lightning strikes. But anyway, sorry, here we go. I don't want to take away from Hillary here. Let's go back. And again, she's talking about how terrible climate change is. It's hot in the summer. But not only is it hot in the summer, but it's targeting specifically one group of people.
500,000 deaths. And the majority of those are women and girls, and particularly pregnant women.
Majority of them are women and girls and pregnant women. Who knew? Who knew that the heat is just... It only kills women, especially pregnant ones. So... But I thought that these people, on the same hand, remember when Kamala said that they're all about population control? Shouldn't they? Is that the whole thing? Don't they want to reduce the population? So, I mean, balancing out, right? The science is balanced. It's hot. The heat is specifically, it's killing thousands of people. I thought they didn't want the people because the people cause the heat. So if the heat is getting... I'm confused. I don't know about you. But clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. Who am I to understand science more than Hillary Clinton? She's the one getting paid by it. And if you want to fix the climate, the best thing you can do is, of course, send money to Democrats. Because if there's one group of people I know who can change the weather, when you send them money, it's the Democrats. Speaking of other Democrats, Dick Durbin went to the floor of the Senate this week. Remember, he's a senator, that Dick Durbin. And he wants to allow illegal immigrants to be a part of our military. That sounds like a great idea, don't you? Don't you agree? Let's tune in to old Dick Durbin. Here he is, telling us this big plan.
Debate now about the southern border is it is one half of the immigration equation. Yes, we need order at the border. Yes, we need to have changes in the law.
Order at the border, it rhymes.
Laws that reflect the reality of the overwhelming numbers from all over the world who are coming to our shores and our border. But there's also an incredible demand for legal immigration into this country even now. The presiding officer, my colleague from the state of Illinois, has legislation which addresses one aspect of that. Her bill, and I hope I describe it accurately, says that if you're an undocumented person in this country and you can pass the physical and the required test, background test, the like, you can serve in our military, and if you do it honorably, we will make you citizens of the United States.
Time out. So Dick Durbin supports legislation that says, hey, illegal immigrants, you guys can be a part of our military. You can serve in our military. And if you do it honorably, then you can become a citizen. So we're going to give somebody who might be dishonorable, somebody who's not an American citizen, somebody who has no interest in being it, other than to enrich themselves, who's already probably lied coming across the border. Illegal immigrant, it's right there. It's illegal to cross the border the way that they have. They aren't seeking asylum, because if they were seeking asylum, they would go to the next safe country. Mexico's pretty safe compared to a lot of these countries that they claim to be coming from. So they cross the border. They're an illegal immigrant. They want to serve in our military. And if they do it honorably, we're going to arm the hell out of them. We're going to give them all the weapons and all the training. We're going to let them go through all of our military programs, give them access to whatever. And if they do it honorably, then they can become a citizen. Think about that for a second. Think about how insane that sounds. If they do it honorably, so we're gonna give somebody who may not be honorable. We're not sure yet. We're gonna give them all of our training, all of our weapons. We're gonna let them police people as part of the military. We're gonna arm them better than our citizens. And if they do it honorably, they can become an American citizen themselves. How about that, Apples? What a terrible idea that is. Here we go.
Do we need that? Do you know what the recruiting numbers are at the Army and the Navy and the Air Force?
I know what the numbers are in the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. They're all down. You know why? Because people don't want to serve under this Biden administration. They don't want to be put into stupid wars that we don't belong in. And they don't want to be trained in DEI, CRT, and have to tell everybody their pronouns before they go to war. They're sick of it. They don't want to be a part of the leftist agenda. That's why their numbers are down. They don't want to be part of a military that says diversity is our strength. You know what the strength is of our military? Spoiler alert, the strength of militaries, especially to our enemies, is how many people can you kill, how powerful are your guns, and how big are your missiles. Not diversity. Diversity is not the strength of a military, and that's why you're not getting recruits right now. Because nobody wants to be a part of this freak show. No one wants to be a part of the current freak show where you can go get free trans surgeries and talk about all of your fifis and do little dance routines and be a fat pig in the military, because there's the requirements are just dropping. They're just letting anybody in because they need people. And nobody wants to be in the military serving next to people who come from another country illegally. That's why the numbers are down. It's not hard. It ain't deep.
They can't reach their quotas each month. They can't find enough people to join our military forces.
Well, maybe they should find more diversity. They should push diversity more. Maybe clearly that's not working. Maybe they should change something. Maybe they can't find the numbers that they used to be able to find in the military because something's changed. What could it be?
And there are those who are undocumented who want the chance to serve and risk their lives for this country. Should we give them the chance?
Who? What undocumented person wants to? We should give them the chance. Yeah, sounds like a great idea. This is why we are failing. And we will continue to fail. But hey, don't worry about it. The House now, I used to have faith, by the way, in this new speaker. But this was an interesting one. They're releasing all the January 6 tapes, as you know. But this is an interesting comment today. Watch this.
Trust the American people to draw their own conclusions. They should not be dictated by some narrative and accept that as fact. So they can review the tapes themselves. We're going through a methodical process of releasing them as quickly as we can.
Gotta love a methodical process.
As you know, we have to blur some of the faces of persons who participated in the events of that day, because we don't want them to be retaliated against. And
hold on, I'm going to play that again, and I'm going to tell you why there's something fishy about this.
As quickly as we can. As you know, we have to blur some of the faces of persons who participated in the events of that day, because we don't want them to be retaliated against and to be charged by the DOJ and to have other concerns and problems. So
I call bullshit. And I'll tell you why. The DOJ has had access to all of this footage. The DOJ is continuing to charge everyone that they find in there for trespassing or obstruction of Congress, whatnot. I think it's BS what's happening there. But they've had access to all of this footage, and they've definitely scoured all of it. They put out wanted signs for everybody. They've been going around the country trying to find these people. They've seen it already. So I don't believe for one second, that the blurring of faces is done to protect people from retaliation by the DOJ. By the way, if you broke a crime, you broke a law, you broke a law, honestly. Should be the problem is the over prosecution of these things. If you trespass, typically I think it's like $25 or $50 fine. That's all it should be. If you broke something, you should pay for it. You should, again, crime is a crime. Wasn't an insurrection, though. Was not an insurrection. But here's the thing. They have scoured these videotapes. Democrats have gone through. January 6th committee obviously went through it, made their little selective videos to make it look like all hell had broken loose. I think everybody who's going to get picked up has been picked up. That being said, the only reason they're blurring faces now, I do not believe it's for retaliation. I think they're blurring faces because they're federal agents and deep staters that were a part of this encouraging it. And they've cut a deal to release this footage without exposing those people. I'm going to say it again. I think a deal has been cut to release the January 6th footage, but to protect the undercover agents from the FBI and other agencies that happen to be there that day. That's the only thing that makes sense here. Why would you need to blur these faces? Because obviously the DOJ has had copies of all of this data. They've gone through all of these records, and they found the people that they're going to prosecute. So why? And if the answer to why can only be that. I do not see anything else that it could be. I really don't. All right, let's go on to something lighter. And I like this one. The new episodes of Frasier have come out, and I've been pretty happy about it. Actually, I do not like current sitcoms. I haven't liked where they've been going. I don't like how woke they are. But Frasier has not been woke. And it might be because the other day, Kelsey Grammer, he was on BBC, and they abruptly cut off an interview with him after they asked him if he still supported Trump. Spoiler alert, he does. Here we go.
I got to ask you about politics before we finish. You mentioned Roseanne early on, who had a great comeback, but also was a Trump supporter. At least you were a Trump supporter. I'm fascinated to know if you still are.
I am, and I'll let that be the end of it.
So apparently, according to reports, after he said that, either the BBC or the Paramount PR people did not want this interview to continue. They thought it was bad for PR. But I think that this is going to be a trend. I think more and more celebrities are going to come out positive as conservatives and as Trump supporters. I'm going to play this again. This is Frasier again, Kelsey Grammer, star of Frasier, on the BBC, discussing his support of President Trump.
I got to ask you about politics before we finish. You mentioned Roseanne early on, who had a great comeback, but also was a Trump supporter. At least you were a Trump supporter. I'm fascinated to know if you still are.
I am, and I'll let that be the end of it.
So there you go. I think there will be more and more people in Hollywood coming out, especially as we see the failure, as I've covered in past podcasts, of Disney, of a lot of woke culture. It's costing studios millions upon millions of dollars. In fact, I believe Disney's Wish is going to lose $300 million is the current estimate, 200 or 300 million. The Marvels has become the worst Marvel cinematic universe film of all time, gross-wise. So I think you're going to see a switch back to try to cash in on conservatives. I don't see this as a bad thing, obviously. And Kelsey Grammer has been a conservative for a very long time. He supported Trump last time. He supports him now. He's also not a bad voice to have on the conservative side, but I think it's going to be, again, you've got Roseanne, you've got him, you've got a few other people popping up here and there, but I think you're going to see Hollywood start to use more conservatives because they understand they're losing money on the woke stuff and they want to regain the audience. They realize they lost half of the country when they went woke. And I believe they are going to try to cash in on the entertainment. Oops, sorry. I'm still learning my computer, it turns out. But I think you're going to see Hollywood try to cash in more, absolutely more, with conservatives from now on. I just think that's the angle that they're going to go with. It's going to take them a little bit, but I think when you see studios like Disney, who have lost clearly billions of dollars now, billions with a B of dollars on Star Wars, on Marvel, on their cartoons, on Pixar, on their parks, on their subscription service, they have lost piles of money. Their stock is down almost 60%. Disney is failing right now, and they're going to need to do something to flip it. And when you have a television star like Frasier, sorry, I keep calling him Frasier, but Kelsey Grammer is also in the X-Men movies as Beast. I really do think you are going to see more of a switch, because obviously when Roseanne first came back with her show, it was a huge hit. It set record numbers for a sitcom before they got rid of her for mouthing off about it. I forget who it was, somebody in politics on social media. They found a way to get rid of her, and then the show went to shit. So I think what you're going to see is a flip to conservatives very slowly. I think it's going to trickle in. But I don't doubt that you see more projects with Chris Pratt, who leans libertarian. He's obviously worn a Gadsden flag shirt, a few other things. And so, like, I think you will see these studios try it, and I think it'll be successful, and then you'll see a lot more conservatives everywhere. But interesting that they cut off that interview very quickly, whether it be the BBC or Paramount Plus's PR person, after they asked Kelsey Grammer if he still supported Trump, and Kelsey Grammer does, in fact, still support Trump. And I think there are, again, a lot more people in Hollywood who support Trump. That being said, I want to thank our sponsor again for the day, cigarsdirect.com. You can go to cigarsdirect.com, get all the cigars that you could possibly want. I mean, truly, they have everything. And I think they're running out of time for holiday orders. If you want to get them in now, I believe I saw an email earlier today for Gotta Fire. If you like Fuentes Gotta Fire, I love Fuentes Gotta Fire, by the way. One of my favorite sticks, heavy Maduro, heavy tobacco. I mean, it's just really just one of the most robust, powerful flavors of a cigar that you could ever get. I love them. I have about 3 boxes downstairs. I lose my mind for those sticks. You can go get them right now from cigarsdirect.com. Also, as you can see, I've got my Ezra Zion stuff here. I love Ezra Zion cigars. A lot of cigars here. I love all my sticks from them. If you can get in on Nomad's limited releases like I do, I'm always first to list. Hit the buttons. Just kidding. I have a hookup. I still pay them for them, but I get all their limited releases, and I love every stick I get from them. Everyone is unique. All the flavors are fantastic. They have a master tobacconist over there that does incredible work. I can't speak highly enough about him just as a human being, but also with his art that he does. Some of the best stuff you'll ever have, and some of the best flavors without being a flavored cigar. They'll call something, chocolate truffle, and it literally, you get the notes of chocolate truffle from the blend of the tobacco. They have one that's fried chicken, and you get literally, I can't make this up, Ezra Zion cigars. They have a blend that when you learn how to smoke, and there's some retrohaling where you kind of take in the entire tobacco leaf when you're inhaling the cigars. It tastes like fried chicken. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane, the stuff that you can get and what I've learned from them. And so cigarsdirect.com, go get your Gotta Fire sticks from them. Go get your 25th anniversary sticks from them. Go get your humidors and your cutters and all the things you need, all the supplies you need to start off your collection from Cigars Direct. But go visit my friends at Ezra Zion as well. Ezra Zion, I believe.com. And Nomad Cigars. Go check their stuff out. Fantastic stuff. Really fantastic stuff. This has been the Tim Young Tim Runs His Mouth podcast here at American Greatness. Thanks, Cigars Direct. Thanks, American Greatness. Thank you guys for listening, watching. Like, share, subscribe, share it with your friends, and I will see you next time.